A very warm welcome to my channel, guys, yet again. And I know that studying poems can be a tedious job. Not everyone likes to study poems, especially when it's poems like "Do not go gentle into that good night," which repeat the same idea again and again. But do not worry, I'm here to just simplify things, to make it digestible for you, and I'll try to give you an in-depth explanation of the poem "Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night" in this video. So keep watching and let's begin. So, "Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night" is a poem by Dylan Thomas, which is addressed apparently to his dying father, who has lost his sight due to old age. So, the poet is Dylan Thomas. He has written a poem known as "Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night." Do not go gentle means just do not accept something very gently, and good night means the night when a person dies, the night of death. So, what Dylan Thomas means to say in the title is "Do not gently accept death." This can be interpreted as the title of the poem. In this poem, the poet urges his dad and all of us to resist death as strongly as possible. He gives the examples of all sorts of men and tell that they all resist death because they still have something undone left to complete. Hence, we should resist death too. So, what has happened is that Thomas's father is about to die. He has become very old, he has lost his sight, and he is very ill. And throughout his life, Thomas has seen his father being a very nice and enjoyable man. You can just take it on a personal level. We all see our parents and we love them. Our parents talk to us all the time, they're active. Now, suddenly, when the parents get old, what happens is, and especially when they're about, and you can think that somebody is about to die, that person becomes very lethargic. That person does not do anything, that person just lies on the bed. So Dylan Thomas is also feeling the same way. His dad is just lying on the bed. He isn't speaking anything, he isn't saying, he has become totally lethargic. So what Dylan Thomas in this poem tries to tell his father and to all of us in general too is that we should not accept death so meekly. We should not just lie on the bed. If we have even a little bit of strength left in us, we should wake up, try to live life to the fullest. He wants his father to wake up, to scold him, to cry, to do something. At least he wants his father to be a little active. He wants his father to do something because he does not want his father to be just lying on the bed doing nothing and be, useless. So this entire poem is a rebellion against death. It asks us not to accept death meekly. It asks us not to just die just like that. If we have been given a life, we have to make it count. We have to live it to the fullest. In this poem, Dylan Thomas will give examples of all sorts of men and will tell his dad that all the people in the world resist death, giving reasons why they resist death and how they resist death. And so, in this way, he aims that his father will learn a lesson and he'll also, become a bit active and not just accept death like that. So let us begin with the stanza. Stanza 1. "Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light." So in the first stanza, the poet gives us a general idea. He talks in general. He says in the first line, "Do not go gentle into that good night." That is, do not accept that meekly. The good night is the final night, that is death night. So you should not be, meeky and very silent on the day that you're about to die. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. That is, old people who are about to die should mightily resist death with a lot of zeal. They should bring in all the passion that they have left in him. They should do whatever they can, but they should burn like a splinter. When they are dying, they should die like a sparkler. They should not just fade away. They have to die like a sparkler. Okay? They have to burn, they have to rave. That is, they have to try to fight against death as strongly as they can. This is what the poet means to say by the line, old age should burn and rave at close of day. That is, old people should resist death as strongly as possible. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Now, dying of the light is again a metaphor that is used for death. That is, rage, rage, show intense passion and anger towards dying. Do not just accept death, fight with death. Fight with death and just fight it with a lot of passion and anger. So, dying of the light is death. So, in the first stanza, what the poet tells, that do not accept death meekly. Even if you know that you are about to die soon, you should do everything that you want to do. You should not just lie on the bed saying, yes, death, come and just take me away. It should not be like that. So, let's now come to stanza number 2. Though wise men at their end know dark is right, because their words had fogged no lightning, they do not go gentle into that good night. Now, in the upcoming 4 or 5 stanzas, Dylan Thomas will talk about all sorts of men. He's trying to give his father some examples and tell him that every person in the world resists death. So the first example that he gives is that of wise men. He tells his father that wise men, now wise men can include philosophers, poets, authors, and intellectual people of any sort. Wise men at their end know dark is right. So in the earlier stanza also it was written good night, and now it is also written no dark is right. So what Dylan Thomas also knows, that death is inevitable. Okay, death cannot be avoided. Death is something that has to happen to every human being, and death is good also. Death gives us freedom from all the pain, all the sufferings that we are in. So Dylan Thomas in this stanza says, though wise men at their end know dark is right. That is, although wise men know that death is inevitable and they'll die and death is good for them, because their words had fogged no lightning. But because whatever they have done, whatever they have said, have not been able to create much of an impact, they do not go gentle into that good night. So what you can understand it like, because these wise men are man of words, like you can understand poets, authors, writers, philosophers. They have said a lot of wise things, but still people are not obeying them. But still, whatever they have said, it didn't just create much of an impact, and that is why such people do not accept death. They want to live more so that they can just try to do something so that their words are accepted. Okay, coming to stanza number 3. Good men the last wave by, crying how bright their frail deeds might have danced in a green bay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Now in this stanza we are talking about good men. The poet talks about good people, and good people can be just good people. You can understand it like any person. The last wave by. The last wave by, you can understand this is a comparison between the last wave in the ocean that crashes against some rocks and dies, and also the last wave of good men. That is, good men who are about to die. Now good men who are about to die, crying how bright their frail deeds might have danced in a green bay. Now good men know that they have done some small acts. Okay, they have done some small deeds, but again they have not been able to create much of an impact. Had they lived more, had they lived longer, their deeds might have created a greater impact. Just like if the waves had reached the bay, they would have looked magnificent. You can see, if the waves are able to reach the shore, everyone admires them, everyone says how beautiful they are, everyone says, oh, look at that majestic wave. But if the same wave dies in the middle of the ocean, nobody notices them. Same is the case with good men. Their deeds are like that of waves. Okay, but those waves have just died in the middle of the ocean. Those deeds are defined as frail, that is weak. Those deeds have not been able to create much of an impact, as I said. Those deeds have not been able to influence many people. And so good men too try to resist death, so that in the upcoming time, so that in the little time that they can get, they'll try to do some more deeds which maybe, or which perhaps will be counted. Okay, which perhaps will be more noticeable. So good men resist death and wise men resist death. And now let's come to stanza 4. The poet talks about wild men in this stanza. Wild men are the adventurous people, okay, who like to go on adventures. Wild men who caught and sang the sun in flight and learned too late. They grieved it on its way. Do not go gentle into that good night. Now, wild men or the adventurous men are like, you can just, throughout their life, they have been running after wild things. Like some people caught and sang the sun in flight means they always wanted to see where the sun started from and where it set, means they noticed, or they, you see, they took note of the entire flight of the sun, means entire movement of the sun in the sky from the east to the west. They noted this and other mortal beautiful things in life. Now some of them might be studying oceans, and some of them might be going on to mountains. All these adventurous people were just, running after the beautiful things in life, but these beautiful things are mortal. You see, when they were in the act of catching the sun, they realized that the sun sets, and similar was the case with them. While being on these adventures, they realized that their death was nearing. They have made many adventures in their life, but now they are also about to die. Okay, they think that they have some other important tasks to do as well. They have only wasted their time just looking after the sun, or maybe climbing mountains and things like that. They haven't done some substantial work, and so they also resist death and do not go gentle into that good night. And now let's come to stanza 5. It talks about the final list of men, that is grave men. Grave men near death who see with blinding sight. Blind eyes could blaze like meteors and be gay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Now, grave men can be serious people, or it may also refer to other sick dying people. Other sick dying people like Thomas Dylan's father. So, in this stanza, what the poet tries to say is that the serious people, or the people who are seriously ill, okay, who are near death, and who see with blinding sight, who have also lost their sight, like Thomas Dylan's father, okay, realize that blind eyes could blaze like meteors and be gay. They also inwardly know that their eyes are still not blind. They still have the eye of the heart, and they realize that even blind eyes could make some difference. Like, they realize that even though they are so ill, they still can do something. They still can, create some impact. So they also rage against the dying of the light, that is, fight against death. They also resist death. Even those people who are like Thomas Dylan's father, who are getting blind and who are nearing death, they also resist death, because they think that they can do something substantial in the time that is to come. And in this last stanza, and you, my father, there on the sad height, curse, bless me now, with your fierce tears I pray. Do not go gentle into that good night, rage against the dying of the light. So in this final stanza, Thomas Dylan finally addresses his father. After giving all these examples, he tells his father, like, look at all these men, look at the wise men, look at the grave men, look at the adventurous men, look at the good men, look at all sorts of men. And you also, looking at them, realize that you also can do something before you die. So just either curse me, bless me, do something. Just make some action. Just do not lie lethargically on the bed. Just do not be a living dead body. Do something. Because all sorts of men who are about to die do something, so you also do something. So he writes, and you, my father, there on the sad height. Sad height means at a point of time where he's about to die. Okay? So the son understands that his father is about to die, but he wants him not to die just passively. He wants him to die actively. He wants him to shout with pain, or maybe just hold on, just clench his fist, or do something. Okay? He does not want him to just pass away, just and fade away. It's not going to be like that. Curse, bless me now with your fierce tears I pray. So he's asking him, curse. So he's asking his father to curse him or bless him. Means he doesn't care if his father curses him or blesses him. He just wants his father to take some action. He just wants his father to be moving around. Curse, bless me now with your fierce tears, I pray. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. In the last 2 lines, he finally repeats the things that he has been saying throughout the whole poem, that do not go gentle into that good night and rage, rage against the dying of the light. Both of the lines mean the same thing, that is, do not accept death passively, but fight against it with all your might. So this was the explanation of the poem. I hope that I have been able to some extent clear your doubts regarding this poem, and some of you might have even understood it by now. If you liked the video, please like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Your contribution means a lot to me, so please keep commenting and telling me like what you want in the future. Thank you so much.